We are coming in on a nice 9-3 run, and now it's time for Week 9 player props. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are back with some more NFL action. We got player props. We have anytime touchdowns. I'm excited to get into it. If you're looking for my best game bets video and trends, that is out now. We went 3-0 last week on a nice little roll there, so hopefully we can do it again. But the website, justabetoutside.com, as you guys know, is officially live. We've made some great improvements, and we're doing it every single day. We're not done yet. The site has premium betting tools. I wanted to give you guys stuff that can really help you out. Instant snapshots, results of bets, how you've done on bets from minus 115 to minus 125, these kind of player props, this sports book, etc., etc. You can access odds across 250 plus sports books, find all the best odds, narrow it down to just the books you use, link your sportsbook accounts to it. I mean, it goes on. And you can also get some end-of-year tax help, which a lot of people look for as it gets towards this time of the year as well. If you want to join the community, it's just completely free to sign up to get that. I don't pay a charge for any bets. I never have charged for my bets, but you can tail other people with one click of a button. So I love to see all the options that we have here. And again, we're going to continue to grow. We're going to have some betting contests even soon. So $9.99 a month to join, but you can use the promo code JABOLAUNCH for 1 free month. So let's get it rolling. It's dad joke time. Here we go. My wife says that quilts are better than duvets. I said, be careful making blanket statements like that. In this video, we're going to recap Thursday Night Football. Hey, we got a primetime winner. How about that? And then we're going to go over my 5 best player props, my 3 favorite anytime touchdowns, where we went 3-0 last week. And then, of course, we'll finish it with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. We talk NFL, NBA, and MLB all season long. So let's get it rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. Maybe the key to getting a primetime winner is just bet the under. Rashad Bateman, under 2.5 receptions. He actually had a couple short pass catches, which is not like him. One was for a touchdown, but he ended on 2. I was joking around when they were up a lot and the blowout was happening. With my primetime luck, he was going to catch a third pass in the last drive or something, but he did not, and we broke the curse. So 66 and 57 on the season, up 2.72 units. We give an overall breakdown of how this record looks with player props, game bets, and all that every single Sunday night. But that's what we got for the recap. Now it's time for those player props. All right, player prop 1 is an under for 1 unit. In fact, 4 of my 5 player props are 1-unit plays. We're going for it. Let's have a good weekend. But this first one, Hunter Henry, under 35.5 receiving yards, minus 118 on BetMGM. You guys know we tailed Hunter Henry earlier in the season, but let's talk about him now. He's been seeing a little bit less volume lately. Target share last 3 games, 11%, 18%, and 3% last week. His targets the last 3 games, 3, 5, and 1. Just the numbers just aren't there. Overall numbers the last 3 games, 3 catches for 27 yards against the Saints, 4 for 33 against the Titans, and 1 for 7 yards against the Cleveland Browns. Average yards per reception last 3 games, 9, 8.3, and 7. Again, all these are really low numbers, low volume. And with all that said, this is the worst matchup in the entire NFL for tight ends. And honestly, it's not even close. It was wild when I even looked this up. The Falcons have allowed the fewest yards per game to the tight end position. It's not even close. They have allowed, are you sitting down? Just 105. 105 total yards to the tight ends this entire season. Bills are the only team to allow less than 261. I mean, that's how good they've been. Linebackers, safeties, excellent coverage. I know Jesse Bates might not be playing this game, but I still think their scheme and how they play, they're going to be fine. This is the number 1 pass defense overall in the NFL right now. So let's talk tight ends versus Atlanta. Tanner Conner, 6 yards. George Kittle, 0. Dawson Knox, 19. Zach Ertz, 21. That is the biggest number you will hear. Tremble, 16. TJ Hawkinson, 12. K. Dotton, 0. The most a tight end has gotten all season long is 21 yards by Zach Ertz. So it's absolutely crazy. With the volume and target share going down for Henry, again, with this being an incredibly tough matchup, I love him to join all these other tight ends and go under this line versus Atlanta. So give me the man with 2 first names, under 35.5 receiving yards as my first prop. All right, this second one is another tight end prop. Give me Tyler Warren over 54.5 receiving yards at -115 on BetMGM. Again, this is a one-unit play. This rookie has been an absolute stud, just like we all thought. As you can see by this outlier screenshot, 55-plus receiving yards in 5 of the 8 games so far. 38 is the lowest yardage he's had all season, and that was in a blowout. 63-plus receiving yards in all 5 overs. So when he goes over by a lot. So, I mean, this is one of those game lines that, you could bladder 60, 70 plus as well. He's had a great connection with Daniel Jones, averaging 4.6 receptions on 6.3 targets, a nice 73% completion percentage to him. Solid 5-plus targets in 7 of 8 games. Now, some more numbers. This is the guy who can make some big plays. He's had a long catch of 20-plus yards in 5 of the 7 games. The only 2 other ones, 17 and 19. So he has at least a 17-yard catch in every single game. He has a 13.7 yards per reception average, and he's a big yak guy. That's right, he's a big yacker. Yards after catch, averaging 36.6 yards after catch per game. Second highest target share percentage on the team. Now, the matchup against the Steelers, unlike Hunter Henry, which is playing the hardest matchup, this is as good as it gets. Steelers giving up the 3rd most receiving yards in the NFL to tight ends, 555 through 7 games. Linebackers are absolutely awful in coverage here. Let's talk some tight ends versus the Steelers. Tucker Kraft, you guys remember that primetime game? How about 143 receiving yards? Noah Fant, 44. His line was 27.5. Harold Fannin Jr., the rookie, 81 receiving yards. TJ Hawkinson, 39. Henry had 90. That was when he was playing more. Obviously, we just talked about him. But Austin Hooper, 28 also in that game. Arroyo and Barner combined for the Seahawks to have 57 yards on 4 catches. Now they face possibly the best tight end in the league right now in Tyler Warren, while also having to worry about stopping a man named Jonathan Taylor. It's going to be tough. Give me Tyler Warren over 54.5 receiving yards as my second prop. All right, this third prop is a quarterback, and it's another under. Give me Bo Nix under 205.5 passing yards, -112 on DraftKings. 1-unit play. I almost made this a half unit, but you know what? After really diving in, I like this for a full unit. But let's talk Nix this season. He's faced the top 17 pass defense 3 times this year. He went under in all 3 games, and by a lot. 176 versus Tennessee, 153 versus the Chargers, 174 versus the Jets. His blow-up games, 326 versus the Bengals. Horrendous. 242 versus Philly. Now, they're close. They're like 17th, 18th, right there with the Titans. But he got 242 against them, 279 against the Giants, who are horrendous. And by the way, he was terrible that game. It was all in the 4th quarter, which I know counts, but just want to point that out. And then 247 versus Dallas, maybe the worst pass defense in the entire NFL. His pass attempts line is juiced to the under 32.5, usually averaging around 35 pass attempts per game. On top of that, his home road splits are not good, averaging 257 per game at home. But he's on the road. He's averaging just 193.75 yards per game on the road. It's a big difference. Now, not only is it on the road, this is going to be his toughest matchup of the season. Texans defense, you guys know they're really good, allowing the 4th fewest passing yards per game at only 178. Knicks has to go way over that average that they've been giving up to get over this. They've been just average getting pressure on quarterbacks. Secondary is elite. You guys know that. Texans numbers rank 1st in opponent dropback EPA, 2nd in dropback success rate, allowing the 3rd fewest pass completions per game. Quarterbacks versus the Texans, Mac Jones, 193, and that was with ketchup mode, not mustard. Okay, anyways. Darnold, 213 pass yards, averaging 250 a game. Cooper Rush, 179, and that was a lot in garbage time. Cam Ward, a measly 108. That's pretty bad. Trevor Lawrence, 222. Decent game there. He went over. And Baker had 215. Now, Baker is averaging 240 per game, and he had under 200 until the game-winning drive in the last 2 minutes. So, again, these are all guys that throw, for more yards than Bo Nix. I think we see a competitive, low-scoring game, not a game where, the Broncos are going to just be thrown it a ton all over the field. Give me Bo Nix under 205.5 pass yards as my third prop. All right, this 4th prop is a half-unit play. Give me Bijan Robinson over 35.5 receiving yards at -114 on FanDuel. 2 reasons why it's a half unit, not 1 unit. I already have 1 unit play in this game. We talked about in the Hunter Henry bet. And also, running back receiving yards can sometimes be a little hit and miss. That's why I don't usually bet it. That and quarterback rushing yards. No real consistency there, but when it comes to receiving yards or running backs, this is one of 2 guys you can kind of count on in Bijan Robinson. So let's first start with the Patriots defense, because they force teams to abandon the run quickly. Not one single running back has over 50 rush yards on them. They are absolutely elite. They've allowed the 2nd fewest rush yards per attempt at 3.5. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this, the Falcons have to find ways to get Bijan the ball. That's just what they have to do, and I think it's going to be through the passing game. I think they know that. They got to get him out in space. and hit him out there, whether it's in the flat or running routes, whatever it is, because the Patriots have actually struggled defending the running backs out of the backfield in the passing game because they've given up the 6th most receiving yards to the running back position. These running linebackers for New England, excellent defending the run, awful in pass coverage. So let's talk Bijan now. He's right there with Run CMC as the best receiving running backs in the NFL. I'm throwing out last game. Why? It was with Kirk Cousins. I mean, goodness gracious, it was awful. In the 6 games with Penix at quarterback, he is over this line in 5 of 6, over 50 receiving yards in 4 of those 5, 100-plus receiving yards in 2 of them. This is a possible ladder spot here, to be honest with you. He is averaging 5 receptions on 6.5 targets per game with Penix, averaging 12.4 receiving yards per reception, 55 yards after catch per game. This season, he's just a flat-out beast. You guys know that. He is such a great receiver. With this game script, I expect the Falcons, playing a little catch-up. I think they're 6-point underdogs here. So, again, potential ladder to 50 or 60-plus. I don't want to touch it. I almost went under rush yards because that's like 62.5. And, again, no one's been over 50. I think the Falcons, if they are smart, have to get him the ball through the passing game. So, give me Bijan Mustard over 35.5 receiving yards as my 4th prop. All right, you didn't think we were going to leave without an alt-line parlay, right? We've been hot on these. Let's stay hot. 1-unit play, -112 on DraftKings. Give me Jahmyr Gibbs, 60-plus rush yards. Justin Herbert, 210-plus pass yards. Now, let's start out with Gibbs, 60-plus rush yards. Again, this is playing it safe. This is an alt-line parlay. I think he could have a huge game here, though. At home, he is dominated. How about 94, 91, and 136 rush yards in those 3 home games, averaging 7.3 rush yards per carry in those games. One of them was against the Cleveland Browns as well. This season overall, he has 60-plus rush yards in 5 of 7 games this year. One miss was that first week where the Lions' offense did nothing in Green Bay, if you guys remember it. The other miss was right at 54 rush yards. He's averaging 15 rush attempts per game. Attempts line again set at 14.5, so I expect another 15 attempts or so. This man is averaging 5 yards per attempt overall this season. He, as you guys know, he makes big explosive plays, especially at home. But he's facing the Vikings. This team is struggling to defend the run. There's no denying that. Giving up 4.14 yards per carry to the running back position this year, and it seems to be getting worse lately. Let's talk some running backs against the Vikings. Vidal Sassoon had 117 rush yards last game. Saquon Barkley, they did hold to 44. He's had a weird, struggling year. Quinshon Judkins, 110. Kenneth Gainwell, 99. Bijan Robinson, 143. Also in that game, Algier, 76. They give up over 200 rush yards to both of them. Jahmyr, that's an interesting name. Jahmyr Gibbs against the Vikings last season in 2 games. How about 116 and 139 rush yards? Absolutely dominated him at home. I like them to do it again. We got a good game script. I like Gibbs for 60-plus rush yards. Justin Herbert, 210-plus passing yards. This is an offense that lost 3 running backs already this year. Herbert is chucking it all over the field, averaging 36 pass attempts per game this year, averaging 267.5 pass yards per game. That is insane. He has 3-plus 300-yard passing games, even threw for 420 in one of them. Now, it looks like he has his best O-lineman back in Joe Alt. That's going to be huge. Give him more time in the pocket, obviously. He has tons of weapons. You guys know that. Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, and now stud tight end Gadsden. He has been awesome lately. Facing the Titans defense, how about giving up 216 passing yards per game? They don't get much pressure on quarterbacks, as you guys know. Some recent quarterbacks versus the Titans. Jones, 272 pass yards. That's Daniel Jones. Drake May, 222. Could have had more. It was a blowout. Kyler, 220. Stroud, 230. Geno went under, but he sucks. Herbert has more passing yards than not only those guys, every single quarterback in the NFL. His line is 243.5. I just need 210. So give me Gibbs, 60-plus rush yards. Herbert, 210-plus pass yards. That is my 5th and final prop. Now it's on to the touchdowns. All right, here we go. I got 3 anytime touchdown bets. Again, these are a quarter unit each for me. I just play it safe. These are fun bets for me. Maybe I'll up it to half at some point, but I do not parlay them. I know some of you guys do, but for me to hit 6 in a row would be crazy. So just want to point that out. But either way, first one, Kareem Hunt, anytime touchdown. Plus 110 on FanDuel. Isaiah Pacheco is out, so he is the main running back here. Hunt this season coming off a 2-touchdown game. He has 5 total touchdowns this season. He has 13 red zone rush attempts to Pacheco's 10. He was already at the goal line back before he was out, so he averages just under 8 rush attempts per game, but Pacheco is out. The books have him set at 12.5 rush attempts, so we're expecting quite a bit more carries here. Facing the Bills, you guys know, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. That goes for running back touchdowns too. Giving up the second most rushing touchdowns to running backs at 9. That's with them having a bye already. Giving up 6 running back touchdowns in the last 4 games already. I like Hunt here at plus money to punch it in. Second one, DK Metcalf anytime touchdown, plus 140 on FanDuel. I'm not sure if I've ever bet DK this year, but DK, he has a touchdown in 5 of his last 6 games. He's been very consistent, the absolute go-to guy for Rodgers. 24% red zone target share on this team, 34% of the team's air yard share. Obviously, big body guy who's a great target in the red zone. Also a guy with unbelievable breakaway speed. 80-yard touchdown already this season. Facing the Colts, they've struggled in the secondary, stopping wide receivers, giving up the 7th most touchdowns to wide receivers with 9. Now, some of that is teams just playing absolute catch-up, obviously, because they're down, 33-16 or something in the fourth quarter. And that could be the case again here. If it is, I don't really care. I just need him to get in the end zone. So I like DK. Third one, a little bit more of a long shot. I like the odds here. Jordan Addison touchdown for the Vikings, plus 245. That's on DK. Yes, it's J.J. McCarthy time. I know that. It scares me too. But Wentz was not looking good the last couple weeks. He was obviously hurt last week. But this season, in just 4 games that Addison's played, he has 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 7.5 targets per game. Even in a blowout last week where he had just 4 targets, the offense was awful, he still caught the only Vikings touchdown. As long as the Vikings and JJ, can move the ball decently here and give them chances, I like his chances to score here. Facing the Lions, giving up the 2nd most touchdowns to wide receivers with 11. It's been mostly number 2 or number 3 wide receivers that have been scoring against them. Also, Tez Johnson scored last game. Xavier Worthy the game before that. Hollywood Brown had 2 touchdowns. So they're doing a decent job at limiting touchdowns to the number 1 guys. But obviously, Addison is the number 2 guy. So finally, Addison last year, 10 touchdowns. Just to kind of show you, this guy just has a knack for the end zone. At almost 2.5 to 1, these odds are just too high. I got to take a chance. So give me Addison to score a touchdown to finish it off. So that's what I got for my 5 player props, my 3 anytime touchdowns. Of course, any added plays will be in the pinned comments below on the website, X, Discord. You know the drill. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. 5 player props, 3 anytime TDs. We got Henry under 35.5 receiving yards for a unit. Tyler Warren over 54.5 receiving yards for a unit. Bo Nix under 205.5 passing yards for 1 unit. And then I got Bijan over 35.5 receiving yards for a half unit. And then my outline parlay, let's stay hot. Jahmyr Gibbs, 60-plus rush yards. Justin Herbert, 210-plus pass yards. 1 unit at minus 112. And then anytime TDs, obviously a quarter unit each. Kareem Hunt at plus 110. DK at plus 140. And Jordan Addison at plus 245. Let's have another great week 9 or great weekend in the NFL in general. Thank you guys for watching. Again, that Game Bets video is already out, so be sure to check that one out. But enjoy week 9. Hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.